Good morning, students. Today I want to talk to you about types of government that were found in Greece. Now, some of these governments are very popular, and the reason we're talking about them is that some of them are even used today or have influenced history huge throughout all of time. Now, the first one that I would like to talk to you about is democracy. And the reason this one is probably the most important is because it's what our country is. Now, when you look at your worksheet, you're going to fill in the left-hand side by looking at the notes I left for you on types of government. So, first thing I'd like you to know about a democracy is how are your leaders chosen? Your leaders are chosen by the people in a democracy. For instance, we're having an election that's coming up. We're going to either choose between Donald Trump or Joe Biden. And these are our people that we choose. Now, who makes the decisions in election? It's either the people. For instance, in some democracies, people choose on issues. They might vote on an issue, or they'll choose an elected official. And lastly, in a democracy, how much freedom do the people have? Well, in democracy, we can say whatever we want about our leaders. We have a lot of freedom. We can say, I don't like that leader, or for instance, if you don't like Joe Biden, or if you don't like Donald Trump, you won't get put in jail for not liking them. Or saying stuff about them. But in some countries like North Korea, that is something that might happen. You might get in trouble. Now, there are two types of democracies. The first type of democracy is a direct democracy. In a direct democracy, people actually vote on the issues. So, for instance, in Athens, people actually voted for different kinds of issues. And, for instance, should we have hot dogs every day after work? The people of Athens would vote on that, and all the men in that city, because it was only men, would get together and vote on that issue. Indirect is when you elect someone to vote on the issue. I want to ask you guys a question. Which one do you think we are? Are we a direct democracy? Do we vote directly on the issues? Or do we elect people to vote on the issues? That's right. We are an indirect democracy. Now, the next one was the type of government Sparta was. Now, I forgot to mention that democracy was Athens. We're going to talk about these two city-states in the future. Sparta was an oligarchy. Now, in that type of government, how are the leaders chosen? Well, it was rich aristocrats. You had to be from the right family or have a lot of wealth to be a ruler. Who makes the decisions? Well, it was about a group of 8. The word oli comes from the word 8. So oligarchy means 8. And finally, how much freedom? I would say between the 3 governments we're talking about, this one lands kind of in the middle because you have a little more freedom than you would of a monarchy or a tyrant, but you had a lot less freedom than you would if you're talking about a democracy. And finally, what is an oligarchy? An oligarchy, well, we already did oligarchy. Sorry about that. Our final one is, what is a tyrant or a monarchy? A tyrant is a person who inherits their power from like a father or their mother. It's passed down, so it's like a dynasty. We've talked about dynasty before. In Greece, usually these people seize their power using force. Who makes the decisions? Well, a king or queen makes the decisions in this type of government. And finally, how much freedom do they have? Not much. If you said anything against the king, he'd probably cut your head off or kill you or do much worse to your family. And tyrant or monarchy is the least amount of freedom. So if you're going to show a continuum on which one had the most freedom, it'd be democracy. Second most would be oligarchy. And third most would be a tyrant. You'd have little freedom in there. Now, with this information, you can start working on your posters.